felt like a kid, but I had to be a grown-up real fast. Years later, I was on Broadway at 26 playing a 17-year-old. That stunted my emotional development in some ways. Years after that, I was back on Broadway at 32 singing about being 19. That also set me back a bit. I had to remind myself that I was a grown man. I could vote, I could drink, I could rent a car. At 34, I bought my first house in Los Angeles. That felt like a solid marker of time. At 39, I bought my first apartment in New York. It has a washer and dryer. If you live in New York, you understand what a big deal that is. Surely, doing laundry in the comfort of my home makes me an adult, right? As I piece together what my true markers of adulthood have been, I keep returning to moments and stories from my life that mark examples of progress. Times where I learned something about myself. Times when something I thought was a triumph turned out to be a failure. Times when something I thought was a failure turned out to be a triumph. When did I actually become an adult? Maybe you can help me figure that out. Playing It Straight for Ricky Lake. I really debated whether to share this story. It's one of those moments that still sends shockwaves of regret through my body. I almost included it in my first book, Too Much Is Not Enough, available wherever books are sold, but it didn't seem to have a place. In retrospect, it would have fit in nicely as a cautionary tale about ambition. Ambition needs to be focused, a bullet, not a grenade. You should want to be recognized for doing something well or for being someone worth admiring. No one should just want to be famous. This is something I learned the hard way and in front of millions of viewers. So with all that said, I will confide in you, and please try to hold your judgment until the end. The story of when I was a guest on The Ricky Lake Show. This story starts the same way many of my youthful adventures started. With my friend... Well, wait. Maybe I shouldn't use her name. Maybe it's not my place to out someone else as having participated in this debacle. But then again, she's the reason it happened in the first place. Okay, her name is Randy Newton. Randy Newton. Randy was my childhood best friend and my prom date 2 years in a row, and I love her. She was always causing trouble, and I was happy to stand next to her while she did. This particular adventure was probably our greatest, and our least thought out. It all started that weird week between the seniors' last day of high school and the actual graduation ceremony. I was mostly home alone. My parents were at work, my sister Natalie was still in school, and the rest of my siblings had moved out. I decided I needed a project, and I set out to paint our main floor guest bathroom. My poor parents. I had great intentions, but terrible taste. At this point, I had destroyed our basement hallway and bathroom with paint jobs that can only be described as Basquiat without the skill or vision. I used sponges and spray paint and faux finishes that didn't even fly in the Midwest in the 90s. And that's saying something because there was a sponge painting explosion in Omaha at the time. My parents didn't say anything about it. They were dealing with larger issues, mainly their troubled marriage. So my expressing myself on the walls was the least of their problems. There I was, painting a bathroom some sad 90s fashion color like sage or coriander, wearing knockoff Adidas soccer shorts and a Creighton Prep post-prom t-shirt with the sleeves cut off. The theme was Arctic Blast, whatever that means. Don't let straight boys pick prom themes. Leave it to the gays and the girls. The phone rang. It was Randy. She was living in San Antonio, Texas, working at Six Flags as a performer. I hadn't seen her in months and was thrilled to get the call. She started in right away with terrifying enthusiasm. I'm going to be on Ricky Lake. They are reuniting me with my ex, Tony. Reuniting seemed an odd choice of words. As far as I knew, Tony lived a mile away from Randy, and one day he had just stopped calling her back. As for ex, I didn't think that they had been dating that long, but whatever. Wow, I said, only partially listening. When are you going? The day after tomorrow, she said. Do you want to come? I have one free companion ticket. It's only 48 hours, but they are paying for everything. Please say yes. Now I was really listening. I was 18, newly finished with high school, and preparing to move.